Hello, folks, and welcome to Stocks and Indices. Trade ideas and review from the previous week. Let's see what is going to happen. So currently I have my long-term NASDAQ projection up. I'm sure you guys have seen this already several times if you're following the weekly videos. If not, can't blame you. This is still new stuff, and I tend to get a little long-winded, but bear with me. All right, so just diving in as to where everything is sitting. On Thursday, we really spiked up, all right? We ended up climbing on NASDAQ. How much is that? 33 points roughly. That's a lot, okay? So I'm going to switch over to the Forex Factory and see what caused that large move. Bear with me, guys. I'm still recovering from all the coughing and whatnot. Feeling much better, but it's still kind of crazy. Okay, so forecasted CPI data came in lower. Year over year CPI came in lower. That's good. What CPI basically means is that the higher the numbers are, the higher the inflation ends up going. Okay, now that month over month it seems to be dropping, and it was reported year over year that it's less than it was last month. That's a good sign. This is the reason why everything spiked on Thursday. Now, I'm a firm believer in moves happening regardless of how these numbers come in. These numbers just end up being a catalyst, right? So if you saw, I still have my target up here. And I mean, it has to get there somehow. So why not do it with market manipulation when data comes out, right? So what are we going to be looking for next? If we take a look at CPI and go month over month, the last time these moved was October 13th and September 13th. So you can see forecasted minus 0.1%, and it actually went up, right? So September 13th. That's this guy right here. All right, so even strong moves like this, right, the 833, whatever it was, look at right here, countered on September 13th, going down 725 points, right? That was a rough move. And it coincides with CPI data. So if CPI rises, NASDAQ tanks. If CPI falls, right? So you can see 0.4 reported compared to forecasted 0.6. It climbs. All right, good. Good to know that going forward, right? When the next CPI reports come in, if it's higher than what was forecasted, expect markets to tank that day. If it's lower than forecasted, expect markets to start climbing. Right now that we've established a pattern. So let's take a look at October 13th, right? It actually went up 0.2%. Where's October 13th? Right here, right? So it shows that it did drop overall all the way down, but not on the daily candle, right? This is what happened on October 13th. Market took it down, right? Because this candle started forming at 7 o'clock. Data came in at 6 a.m. So this is actually, even though it's a 4-hour candle, this is all within that 30 minutes to an hour, right? And then it reversed. So the only reason why it bounced off, I believe, is just it hit target and then it needed to climb, right? Even though on October 13th actual data was reported to be higher, it did drop briefly, but it kept climbing. All right, but did it climb significantly? Not so much, right? However, it did form that institutional buy, right? Or if you've watched that Smart Money how-to tool, very useful, right? This is what we would call an order block. And as you can see, at that 50% from wick to wick, look at the beautiful rejection, right? First one is right there, second one is right here. It seems to pan out, right? So very interesting as far as that news goes and what we've seen happen for the stocks. Now, what we have coming up this week, right, in Forex news, Not really much until Tuesday. So you can see PPI. Right here, the data is forecasted to go higher than it was last month. And if that happens, that's not great for economy, right? It's going to ultimately lead to a bearish reaction. And on the 15th is a lot of retail earnings that are coming in. So expect there to be a lot of volatility on Tuesday. For those that are not in any trades right now, I would recommend holding off until that day is over. I have a feeling that it's just gonna, flap around pretty intensely and then not really pick a direction until, I don't know, midday or so. Like 6:30 a.m. That means this is happening an hour before markets open. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we're going to get a lot of information coming in. Then Wednesday, we have a lot of the core retail sales from the US, a lot of Canada information, more FOMC members talking. So, I mean, it's going to be a very busy week on Tuesday and Wednesday especially. And then that's kind of it for in the nutshell, right? So 15th and 16th are going to be the two important days to keep in mind. If you're nervous about jumping in any positions, just remember, guys, I only have about 730 points left until it reaches target, right? So right here, sorry, not even 600 and change. Like, if it goes any higher, that's wonderful, but, entering the target box is about 640 points away. Best case scenario, it'll go up to about 700. So that's kind of what I project for NASDAQ to happen. Excuse me. Now, AMC. What was I saying here originally? Okay, you can see I drew this up, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was last week. But anyway, so now the spikes are coming, right? You could see right here it climbed just on Friday, 17.4%. That's pretty significant, right? It's a good climb. Closed off the day at $7.20 from its low at $5.18 just on Wednesday. So pretty significant. There is a potential for it to actually hit this area. Hard to say though if it will. I mean, it's nearing the end of the climb for a lot of the different stocks. So if we take a look at Apple, for example, right? Apple, ADI, every stock had a very strong move on Thursday and Friday. Amazon, I mean, kind of lackluster there. Carnival Cruise Lines, very surprising. It had a nice move on Thursday and even better on Friday. Closed at 10:35. So as far as the lows came in, this was about, what, 3 weeks ago? Almost a month ago, right? Tuesday, October 11th and October 10th, around there. Those were the lows at 6:15. If anybody decided to hang on for that 1 month where it hit their lows, up 68%. That is a fantastic return in 1 month. All right. I was saying that the target is between $10.50 and $11. Just want to throw that out there. I did mention it, right? Between $10.50 and $11. If you sold a little early, that's fine. Lock in your profits. If you're going to be above 11 and still hanging on, I would personally not do that, but it is your money after all, so choose what you do with it wisely. DocuSign also had a very positive push forward from its Wednesday low. Right, same sort of idea. I was keen on getting it around 48, and then I saw it going below that, so I snagged it at about 42. Held on for a little bit. As soon as I started dropping, I think I cashed out with 10% in profit. Went a little bit lower, and I just kind of stayed away from DocuSign. Because honestly, I forgot about it. As soon as I got rid of it, I'm like, oh man, made new lows. I should have jumped in again, because if we take a look at just the lows on Wednesday, right, to where it climbed, I mean, that's 33% in 2 days, guys. That is insane. All right, very nice climb. Wish I would have stuck in it a little bit longer, but you know what? It is what it is. So that would have been a very nice cash out right there at 33% in 2 days. Let's see what else kind of did a good number on us. Netflix, I mean, this one I'm just kind of kicking myself when it hit the 160 mark. I should have just stuck it with it, but because it kept flopping around there for several months, I was a little hesitant. I thought it would pull back again, but it tested its Fibonacci channel support line before climbing higher. So this was very resilient, and it even nearly closed the gap right there. What else could we say? Progeny, I mean, a little lackluster. Double red bar right here on Wednesday and Thursday. Was not expecting that at all. I thought it would have been climbing on those 2 days, and it should have been when the market was. So market's climbing, but Progeny was dropping. So that's not a good sign. Okay. Roku, another one where if, again, I set the target pretty low, expecting it to go another $7 or $8 down from its low after earnings. But on from November 3rd to Friday, right? So just hanging on to it just a little over a week, 38%. So still very good return for Roku. And again, I'm not expecting it to go much higher. Remember, guys, the index is almost at the cusp there. I'll show you what my daily chart looks like right here. I'm expecting it to close this long-term gap right there, possibly a little bit higher. I mean, there's about 180 point difference between these two lines, right? So my target is going to be there, approximately in that zone, right? It's not too far off from the long-term chart that I drew up. So if you see where the high was to this, about 740 points, right? That is a little bit higher than this. Let me just jump back on NASDAQ. Okay, that is a little bit higher than what I have going on there, right? 700 and whatnot would be around here, right? Just at the top of this imbalance that formed. So right in the middle of that box, that's where the target is, and that is the first line here. Right, guys, so I'm not really too keen on grabbing any new positions. I'm going to stick with the ones I have. Even Tesla did a little bit of a number, but look what I drew up, right? You see that crazy little box, although to be honest with you, I expected that to happen after its original run. Right, but everything kind of kept pushing it down due to Twitter, so it ended up hitting my target for a sell much sooner than what I actually anticipated. But yeah, I mean, I drew it up, and sure enough, it rejected from that zone. I got messed around with Tesla a little bit. I was expecting that climb, so I bought it around 205. And then going down for several days. I decided to cut my losses after about 8%, and I snagged it at around the bottom 180s, right? So, I mean, kind of made back what I lost, but not a fantastic week with Tesla, to be honest. I was expecting this to actually reject and go higher and close this off. So we'll see how this looks in the next few days, right? Again, Tesla moves a little bit outside of the rest of the tech sector. So, yeah, it could possibly close this gap while everything's dropping off. We'll have to see. The ones of note, I would say, would be Walmart, right? Where earnings, like I said, on the 15th. Where's Target? Earnings coming in on the 16th, right? The day after. Let's see, Home Depot. Earnings coming in on the 15th. Where was the other one? I think Lowe's as well. Let's take a look at Lowe's. Earnings coming in on the 16th, right? So as you can see, 15th and 16th earnings report for a lot of big retail. Oh, and Costco, right? Not reporting until December 8th. So this is the only real saving grace. But as you saw before, when earnings came in where was it? When earnings came in on Walmart, it just brought the stock way down back in May, right? So we take a look at Walmart in May, right? Here we go. This reaction I mean, it was very volatile to go, in 2 days to lose 17%. It's pretty rough, right? But Costco, at the same time, it lost about the same, if not more, right? So all the earnings, like from here after that 2 days, right, 15% Costco dropped from high 400s all the way down to 406. But yeah, so anyway, I believe that the 15th and 16th will give us a very good indication as to where we're headed for the next few months. We see a lot of stocks in the green on Friday. Hopefully that's not short-lived. I do expect this to climb 2 more days. And then once it hits that zone, like I said, that is where I'd be wary of taking any new positions in this box right here. Okay, and again, the reason why I say that is because of two things, right? If I draw Fibonacci from this high all the way to that low, the target zone is the perfect spot for it. However, if I do it off the retracement to the low, you can see that it's right there. So that's why I did that box there. It's from 618 from a retracement and 618 from the previous high. Okay, that's why my box is there. That's what it signifies. And yeah, like I said, once it enters that box, I'm not taking any new buy positions. I'm not going to be taking any sell positions either until that target is reached, or I see something of something of note to actually bring it further down much quicker. All right, so yeah, that's kind of stocks and index in a nutshell, guys. Hope it helps. I'll see you next week.